Hello and welcome back to the Broken Ranks podcast. It's been 2 weeks, but we're back. Everything's all good, and we're in it to win it this week with a lot more news. Probably good that we took that last week off. I think gives us a little bit more to kind of talk about this week because it's been light these past 2 weeks. So
Yeah. Last week we would have had like a 30-minute show if we
yeah,
had done it, I feel like.
yeah,
Now we can have a 35-minute show.
It's a little bit longer. It's
And-
a little bit longer.
and talk about one extra model. But yeah, so we're back and excited to get into this. A lot of cool new rules and stuff just regarding the old endless spells and all of the good stuff there, and obviously terrain. But before we get into that, how's the last 2 weeks been? Who wants to get rolling? Carlos, what's good with you?
I mean, Carlos has things to talk about, important things.
True.
Sure do. Sure do. What's this? Oh, fuck.
Oh baby.
Grand Marshal of Rubicon, baby. 5-0. Let's go.
Big dog with the sword.
That's
Don't-
Carlos's second 5-0 in a row, for those of you that are keeping track at home.
Very true.
Following a 3-0 at the RTT to take first place at Dice Dojo. He is currently
Yeah.
13-0 in competitive matches since March. Yeah, because it was my birthday. That's right.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. How does it feel to be a legend walking among us mortals?
Dirty.
What give us the track, the victory track for this last one.
So round one was. Let me pull it up here, because I know what. Oh, round one was Tanya. Great game. She played Ideneth. She made a lot of 5-up wards. I think it basically came down to me deciding not to double turn her on turn one, because I could have, but I figured I don't want to get double turned by Ideneth on 2 going into 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't want to get double turned by Ideneth when they get to strike first. So I didn't let that happen, and it put me in a position to be able to win the game.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool, and the fact that like the vultures aren't a shooting attack, so the Ideneth rules don't matter. So that was
nice.
kind of that was kind of rough. But second game was against Andrew from Broken Ranks. That was a good game. He kept his general and his necromancer behind some terrain, so like visibility just wasn't going to work out for me, so I couldn't target the 2 things I needed to target. I threw 3 stone horns at his ethereal zombie dragon, and it just sat there and said, "Nah, dog, I'm not fucking moving."
Love me some ethereal.
Yeah, so that was rough. Like literally, like we said, and then he kept whiffing his attacks with his zombie dragon. So literally, his zombie dragon was in combat with the Stonehorn for 3 turns, and nothing died. and so that was, yeah. I barely managed to win that one because I couldn't get my grand strat off of him, and I had to make some sneaky moves on turn 5 to deny his grand strat.
Mhm.
And that's how I won that one. So that was good game. He's becoming a really, really great player.
Yeah.
So
I
excited to have him on
love
Tom
seeing
Sane.
that come through in the Discord. Just the fact that it was a good game, and I know he's been going through the paces. Just like he's hitting tournament after tournament and really, really improving and honing the craft. So I'm excited, especially. Yeah, I know.
He just started in October. You know?
It's crazy to see how far he's come. So shout out to him for just taking to it and learning. Round 3.
Round 3 was against a Kabbalist Slaves of Darkness list. It was a bunch of warriors, some Varangard. And that one had the most potential to become disastrous very quickly.
Yeah.
With that game, I needed to put myself in a winning position very quickly because he was all Mark of Nurgle. This guy named Sean, he was a great player. It was all Mark of Nurgle, so now like all my stuff's wounding on 4s, and then some of that reduces Ren. So like I'm -1 Ren. So That was a rough game. Basically, it came down to me getting a devastating double turn on him from on 2 going into 3.
Yeah.
And I set it up that way because I knew that was the only way to beat this list. I was like, I'm like, I can't sit here and just play patty cake with him because I'm going to lose that game. I'm like, his list is just too resilient. And 3 of his wizards had like Blizzard, so I was like, I can't. I'm like, I can't. Yeah, so that's what I did. I set up a double turn, smashed it in with a devastating double turn, and then put myself in a position to win that game. So that was really good.
Yeah.
Turn 4 was against Andrew, who went 4-1 and got second place and best painted from Broken Ranks.
Hell
The
yeah.
second Andrew from Broken Ranks that you played
Sure.
that tournament.
Yeah, I played
Sure.
both. Yeah.
And best
That-
Andrew from the Dice Dojo tournament.
It's true.
True,
When they
yeah.
did the best Andrew,
Yeah.
that is in fact the case.
He's got a beautiful painted army, and I'm sad he's not going to get to play it in 4th edition. But yeah, anyway,
Past the first year.
yeah. But that was a pretty good game. It was a good game, and basically the way I won it is because literally every turn I could just snipe a hero off the board.
Yeah.
And he didn't know that, right? Like I explained the rules to the list, like the rules to everything,
Yeah.
and he took it as a shooting attack, and
Mhm.
so when it came time for me to roll dice, he's like, "Oh, you can't do that." I was like, "No, I actually can."
Yeah.
So that was rough. So like literally every turn I was like, "All right, that shaman's dead. Now that shaman's dead." And then once those support pieces start going off for Beast of Chaos, it was over.
Yeah. That's a tough
Um,
matchup for him, I think.
I would say so. Yeah. It I theorized that could have been a good matchup for him if maybe right off the cuff he got aggressive, pinned me in, and just didn't let me charge.
What were the what battle plan was that?
That was Spring the Trap. So I had a very small deployment zone,
Yeah.
right? So it's possible that Beast of Chaos can pin you in
Yeah.
on that map but he played defensively,
Yeah.
and that just didn't work out against my list.
Yeah.
So yeah, but shout out, he played a great game and then went 4-1. So congrats to him. And then last was Gargant's. It was a King Broad Stomp list, which if he was like a 4-drop. I'm 2 drops on my list, so I made him go first. And I knew the only thing he could do on turn 1 was try to go first round, destroy or intimidate.
Mhm.
So I basically set myself up to be able to counter the only battle tactic he had and any choice but to try to do on turn
Yeah.
1. And it just kind of went downhill from there from him. So if he had won prio, he on turn 3 he might have been able to turn things around, but he also wasn't lifting Stonehorns fast enough.
Yeah.
So that was the other problem. So yeah, it was a good tournament. Great event.
Shout out. Hopefully it shows up in the BCP thing. Have we confirmed that?
No, and you know what? I don't think it's going to, because I know a couple people that went last year. Actually, Nick True won Rubicon last year.
Really?
Yeah, so yeah, he reached out to me on Twitter. He's like, I won it last year. I was like, well, in 2025, it's gonna be you and me defending the title, baby. Let's go. So that was really cool. But I looked at old. It didn't show up last year.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that means it's not, they don't do it, but
Yeah.
regardless, like, you guys know what happened.
Yeah.
I've got a sword.
Yeah. That's the important thing. Yeah, that's just the same thing happened to me last year with Armed Forces Day. They're like, yeah, we're gonna do it, and then it just never happened, and it just never showed up, and it's just like, whatever. It is what it is, I guess. But yeah. Well, shout out to you. Congrats on the streak of dubs. Super impressive. Legend.
Many dubs.
Legend.
Many dubs.
What about you,
I'm
Rich?
ready to close out 3rd edition.
Yeah.
I ain't done shit.
Nothing? No painting?
No.
What have you gotten into? Nothing? Just sitting there looking at the wall?
I broke my phone today.
Well, that's not good. You
No.
have a flip. You have one of those weird flip ones, right?
Yeah, I dropped it while I was cooking dinner.
I love
And-
Rich's phone.
I guess I guess the screen overextended a little bit, and it like fried the connection between the screens, so I've got to get that replaced.
Oh, so like it bent backwards.
Yeah,
Oof.
actually.
So like, only does either half work?
One
Just
half,
the top half.
one
Look,
half
yeah, look.
kind of works, and you can sometimes get the other half to work,
Oh my god!
but the touchscreen portion of it doesn't work.
The
So
important
like,
part.
yeah,
Wow.
it's like I can't even do anything with it. Like I can't. I'm reading my novels on my computer now through Amazon Prime, the Kindle stuff. That's what I've been doing most for the past week. But now I can't even read on my phone, so we're screwed.
Oh boy.
Maybe I'll find some time to paint now that I can't do that. Probably, probably not. So,
Oh boy. Well, hopefully it doesn't cost you too much to get it fixed or replaced or anything. But
no, I have it under warranty, so
oh,
or
nice.
not warranty, but protection plan, so it should be fine.
Let's go. Cool. Yeah. Well, nothing for me really. Just working and crazy stuff. The wife's back, so we've been kind of busy. Hung out with some friends this weekend.
I bet.
Yeah. It's just all the classic stuff there. So
Buying a home.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
Congrats,
We
man.
put an offer in for a house, so we'll see how that pans out. You never know with that kind of stuff. It could
Yeah, it's
could
fair.
go one way, it could go the other. So we'll see. But good location for her. It's close to like where she wants to be, and good train for
Oh,
me.
that's good.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so it's solid. It's by Mitsuwa, that like Japanese marketplace thing. So
I am so glad you said it.
yeah, it's
I was
like-
gonna say, hey, I don't want to sound racist, but there's a Mitsuo right down the street.
yeah,
So
it's like
you said
15
it. You
minutes
said it, not
away,
me.
So it's that's the place you got to be by. It's gotta
I love
be
going-
around
I
there.
love going there, dude.
It's a good spot. It really is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's me. Yeah, really nothing other than that. Just kind of letting third edition die out. I'm planning the Apocalypse event with Derek at
That's gonna be
Grognard's.
so fun.
Yeah, I'm about like 95% of the way done. If I wasn't so busy recently, it would be completed. But it's gonna be cool. I think people will like it.
Rich, are you gonna participate?
In the Apocalypse event,
Yeah.
what is it?
I don't think he has a date yet, right?
I'll
No, not when. What?
Do we
What?
want a mini spoiler? You guys got the this thing up? I can show you. I
Yeah.
can show you my little PDF I made here.
Yeah, sure.
Let me pop this baby up here. All right, so I'm gonna put it on the screen. So here is the concept right now, and this is what we have in planning. So this is kind of the official but unofficial rollout. We have the Apocalypse of Gur. It's going to be 4 separate teams per one per each Grand Alliance. So we'll have Chaos, Death, Destruction, and Order all on their own teams.
Okay.
It's going to be 4 players per team, 1.5k armies for each player.
Oh.
So 6k army on each of the Grand Alliances.
Okay.
If you can see the image on the screen,
Yeah.
that's how the tables are going to be set up. So they're going to be set up in this kind of like pinwheel shape, and the circles in the middle will be the objectives. So each objective will have a different point cost, and each table will be themed after each of the Grand Alliances that inhabit the table. So that's that portion there. And then let me pull up the document that I wrote out. This is unexpected.
You better come up with some interesting rules for how this is all going to work out.
You'll see. I got some stuff brewing. I can't find the spreadsheet I'm working on, so I'll just say it with my mouth. But basically, what it's going to be is, Death and Order are like in a tentative alliance. They're on the opposite sides of the table, and then Chaos and Destruction are in like a tentative alliance as well. So there are some ways that I have the points structured so that like you're getting bonus points for killing specific things. There will be player scores and then team scores. So at the beginning of the game, you're going to set up like a grudge against one other player on one of the other factions, and you're going to get extra points for just generally killing general units, killing an entire, like if you finish off a unit, you get a specific number of points. If you kill a general, you get a specific number of points. If you kill a hero, you get a specific number of points towards your team's full score. And then you get objective holding points as well. So it's 1, 2, and more for your alliance. So Death and Order will have 1, 2, and more. And then Chaos and Destruction will have 1, 2, and more. But then the center objective, you'll get 5 points for holding to your specific team. So like if Death has the most models on the center objective, they'll get 5 points just to their team. 5 rounds, and it's going to go in a rotating counter to clockwise turn order. So it will go like, you'll roll priority, winner of priority gets to select who goes first, and then it will go clockwise in that order. So Order will say they win priority and they decide to move first. They'll move. Then Destruction will move. Then Death will move. Then Chaos will move. Then Chaos will shoot. Death will shoot. Destruction will shoot. Order will shoot. Then Order will charge all the way around, and it will continue going around that until you roll priority to the next turn. So it's going to be a lot of bookkeeping from my part and watching everything happen and noting down general kills and things, but everyone else will be playing relatively fluidly, and you'll be playing as kind of a team within your Grand Alliance.
That feels a lot better than just like, okay, Chaos gets to take their 30-minute turn now, Order takes their 30-minute turn. Yeah,
so it'll be more interactive in that way. But yeah, so
okay,
and then cool. Obviously we'll have like specific rules for just how like every individual player will be able to redeploy, like, and you'll have your own individual command point pool, or not. I'm still thinking about that. It might just be every team gets just 10 command points to spend, and they have to like be smart with them throughout the turn. We're ironing that. That's the 5% that I don't have kind of finished out, is that stuff. But that's what I've been up to, kind of planning out this little one-dayer event.
Okay.
I think it should be good.
I have questions, but I won't ask them because I could ask you questions all night.
Well, so. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be cool. But the big thing is gonna be how do we get enough people to play not Sylvaneth in Order? Because
I bet. Well, I know Trevor. I think is signed up as KO.
KO, yeah. And then how are we gonna not have 8 Chaos players? That's the other thing. So, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I'll have to loan out a Stormcast army, or someone will play my Night Haunt, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's more about just playing and shooting the shit than it is about
exactly
playing your army and trying to win, really. But yeah, prize support from Grognards, all that. I think it might be like $10 to like get in, and so we can use. We'll figure it all out. But I'm talking to Derek about the specifics on all of that. But I think it should be June 8th. I think June 8th is the day. Just mark it down.
Oh, that's soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be soon.
Okay.
So yeah, that's that. But otherwise, we let's jump into the news. Let's get right into the news here.
News time.
So the first thing that really rolled out was the manifestations, which is what we I guess are now calling endless spells. So this is the article from April 30th, I think. I think it was the Monday article last week, right?
Yeah, April 30th, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So crazy article here. This is a lot of changes to how endless spells.
That was Tuesday from 2 weeks ago.
Tuesday from 2 weeks ago. Okay.
Yeah, last
it was on a Monday, we would have talked about it.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't talk about it last Monday because it came out right after our last podcast.
Yeah. So this was a big one. Bunch of changes in here. I mean, I guess it's probably best to start with just what is happening. So, as we kind of discussed with spells previously, we're getting a specific spell lore that we select for our army, right? Each every wizard knows all of the spell lore, all of those cool changes that we discussed. These will be additional spell lores that I, unless I missed something, it's you can just take them. Is that
In
correct?
addition.
In addition to
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we don't know how how it will be pointed or how any of that will work, right? It's just
It's
in
free.
addition you can take
They're
it.
free.
So that's what
They're
we're
free.
assuming.
That's what they
Which
said.
which means that we're now sitting on a situation where every army that has a wizard
Will
is
have
going.
endless spells.
Honestly, every army will have an endless
Yeah.
spell or
Invocation.
invocations, a manifestation of some kind.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel like taking any of those spell lists, then you're bringing the Kronspine.
Yep. Which
Well,
is...
I don't know if how could they possibly make the Kronspine free? Like,
well, they're just
by-
gonna
I
make
don't-
it suck.
By nerfing him. By nerfing
Yeah.
him.
He's just gonna be bad.
I think the Kronspine is going to be the exception. There's no way you take a model this important and make it a free support piece.
A model
Why not?
with the same base, like a fucking pie plate base.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
free.
It's a Nagash size base.
Yeah.
Like they made a big deal about it, and like it's 500 points right now. Like, don't like nerf it, but don't like make it free.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys are saying that everything else is free, I would tend to think that the Kronspine is also going to be free. I mean, it's titled right here, Universal Manifestation Lore, same as all these other ones. So,
Yep.
But there's a big difference between like, oh my, 30 point.
well, actually,
Getting Gravetide and my 500 point.
Think about this though. If you take these 4 spells here, Horrorghast, Soulstream Bridge, which is 2 pieces, Shards of Valgar, 2 pieces, and the Soul Seeker, and you put them on a table, all next to each other, they're about the same size in width, and height.
Good old Width.
As the Kronspine. So, I mean, if we're
But I'm
talking purely size,
No, I'm talking points.
points-wise,
But actually, points wise, maybe you're right.
it's kind of the same. Yeah.
Maybe you're not far off. Come to think of it,
Because what,
They're-
Purple Sun's like 90
I can't pull
points.
up-
90.
I can't pull up my thing because my phone's dead, so I can't actually.
I'm working on
Check.
it right now.
But that's the thing. You when you're looking at the Kronspine, now that endless spells have health,
Yeah.
the Kronspine can get nerfed down to having health just like the rest of them, and then you can just resummon the Kronspine.
Yeah.
You just make it like these other ones, but since it's by itself, it can be a little bit stronger than most of them.
Mhm.
But like if you're considering what you're looking at, like Purple Sun's 90, Soul Snare Shackles are like 40, 30. Malevolent Maelstrom's like 80 right now,
Yeah.
and Suffocating Gravetide's like 30, 40. So
So
that's already like 240 points of free stuff that you're bringing in different universal spell lore.
Yeah.
So if they just make the Kronspine not require multiple turns to kill and just give it 20 hit points, and the ability to resummon it with perhaps like a higher spell cost.
I don't know about 20 hit points.
Yeah, 20's kind of a lot, but
20 is a
but I get
lot.
what you
Maybe
mean.
10. Yeah,
Not really.
I'm gonna say 10. I'm gonna say 10 hit points.
No.
like 10. It's a
Not-
A Maw Crusher has 18 hit points, dude. And that's 440 points.
Yeah, you got to invest. I mean, maybe if it's on a 6-up or something.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
has no save.
look
Or-
at
yeah.
the look at the. I mean, we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves, but look at Quicksilver Swords. There's 6 wounds for that on the spell.
Yeah, but a 5-up. So if the Kronspine goes to 5-up, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's going to stay exactly the same as it is, and you just give it 18 hit points. But like, there will be changes. Give it 18, 20 hit points. Maybe make it so that it. I mean, if it's not scaling off levels, then you're not getting extra attacks. It's just a big old monster, you know.
Yeah.
And it would be fairly balanced, in my opinion, with the other spell lores. Which, now that we're talking about the different manifestation lures. Jake,
Yeah.
do you have the document that we mathed out for him to see how close we were?
I
Yeah,
don't,
I'm
but I
curious.
was very wrong. So I'll just get up there. So
Okay.
the this one was correct. Horror Gas, Soul Scream, Launch. That one all stayed the same, which is what we kind of
Sure.
assumed. Purple
Uh,
Sun, Grave Tide, and Maelstrom.
that sounds right
That was
too.
correct. Yeah, we also got this one correct. The one
And
that was the one that was
the Aetherot machineries was right too.
Correct. I definitely got Aether Rot Machineries correct.
yeah. I think this one was
Because I
also correct. This is the
because I
one that
thought it was,
that I messed up.
yeah.
The,
I thought Soul Snare Shackles was going to be part of what's the Aether
Aetherot
Rot.
machineries.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise the other three I definitely because I'm like, oh, these are like the lore of metal. Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
But these are the two that I mixed up with the spell port. I put spell portal, palisade, and life swarm, and then gemnids, gnashing jaws, and burning heads. So switch those two, and we were pretty spot on though. Honestly,
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, fair
Um,
enough.
and I mean, if we're just looking at what we know that they do now,
mm-hmm.
these are very interesting groupings,
Yeah,
especially considering that you're not going to be able to mix and match.
yeah,
So you're not bringing the Umbral Portal and teleporting a set of Quicksilver swords.
mm-hmm.
You're not bringing the Umbral Portal and teleporting the Purple Sun.
Yeah,
Like there's
No
a
more
lot of
no no more Maelstrom. You can't launch the Maelstrom through the portal anymore.
nope.
That
yeah.
used to be fun.
The this one
Yeah,
right
there's a lot of
here
stuff.
seems to me to be like kind of the control, like the blue deck type of spell grouping. Spell portal, gemnids, and palisade. Just knowing
So
what they
we
all do.
we can talk about the Palisade because the Palisade is one of the ones that they showed.
Yeah, and
Um,
palisade is not as different as what it does currently.
no, it's the only difference is that it has a save value and wounds
Yeah.
or
Pa-
health, so it can be
Pal-
shot.
Palisade went back to what it used to do.
Mm-hmm.
This is what Palisade did when it first came out, and then they changed it, and now they just went back to what it used to do.
Yeah, I like palisade like this. I also like that it. I think that having health on it is nice. Well, let's talk about that. I guess before anything, we have the palisade thing up. Um, Realistically, the big change with every single endless spell that we have or manifestation that we have now is they now have health and a save, so you can attack them. I assume you can charge them.
Yeah.
I assume that they lock you in combat potentially if you charge them. I mean, that's the one thing that I don't really understand. I don't think they mentioned that anywhere, but
Can you issue commands to them?
No,
I don't think it's
Says
classified as a unit, and that's something that
Oh, you know what? It actually says it specifically here. It says, though similar to units, manifestations aren't going to listen to commands from a nearby hero.
yeah.
Okay,
So
sure.
the
Yeah,
keyword for them is manifestation, not unit. So anything that regards a unit specifically would not function that way.
because I was like, man, imagine your jaws, your Ravnax jaws, just like countercharging.
Just yeah, countercharge and just sits there. We love it.
Smash.
so they can be charged. Um,
Cool. Yeah.
no, I mean I'm saying like it's in the rules. They can be charged. They can be picked as a target of shooting and fighting attacks unless otherwise called out. In the case of the Prismatic Palisade, you can't shoot the Prismatic Palisade. It does say specifically cannot be targeted by shooting units.
So now
Um,
I'm wondering if you say you charge the palisade, can you then pile in to
Yeah.
a unit, like pile in past it and get away from it? Like, do these have combat ranges? Let's see, combat. Yeah, there's nothing that says combat range on the page.
Well, okay. So it says models can move through manifestations, but cannot end a move on them.
Mhm.
On them.
Yeah,
Units can finish a charge within half an inch of them, and they can be picked at the target of enemy abilities like shooting and fighting. They can be damaged or destroyed, but don't count as destroyed for tactics or abilities. can only use core abilities or abilities on their war scroll. They cannot use commands or be affected by friendly abilities unless they specifically affect manifestations, and they cannot contest or control objectives.
Yeah.
So in the case of Prismatic Palisade, it can be charged, but it doesn't have a combat range.
Yeah, so you can charge and just move out of it,
Yeah,
essentially.
because
So,
it says in the bit below that static manifestations.
mhm.
You can ignore them when setting up units. You can end a move within 3 inches of them, and you can freely move away from them. So it's
Yeah.
not a retreat, but moving manifestations, you'll need to retreat from the moving manifestations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you
Um,
can't countercharge them either. I don't want to. I can't pull up the thing, but
no, because they can't be
countercharge,
issued commands.
yeah, you
They,
select a
Well, no. Can
a
you
unit.
countercharge them? I don't
Yeah,
see why not.
I'm
well,
thinking
no,
you
yeah.
can't.
Why? No, no. You can choose them as a target when you are countercharging. Like if don't have the endless manifest or the manifestation, and I countercharge, I can charge them if I want to, but they can't take the charge. They can't take the countercharge ability because it's a command.
Yeah, of course
Correct.
they can't, but I'm think for some reason I'm thinking that you cannot. Battle tactics. I'm trying to pull
Why
up
wouldn't you be able to?
because it's not a unit, and don't you have to countercharge into a unit, right?
No,
No.
no. You just make the charge core ability, and if that was the case, then it wouldn't call out in this all manifestations block where it says units can finish a charge, move within half an inch of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like that
Yeah,
wouldn't
that
be
makes
in there
sense.
if they can't be charged. So yeah, they can in fact be countercharged by your opponent. So you have a
Yeah.
manifestation, it can be countercharged by your opponent if they are eligible to do so.
Hmm.
I don't really know why. If you're not in combat range, it's not really that big a deal for the moving ones at least. But we'll see. We'll see what the rules are.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing about all of these is at least for the two that they've shown, both of them have a 6-up ward.
Yep. 6-up ward. Different
So
save profiles.
yeah,
Sure. I mean, they're made of pure magic, so
I
yeah,
understand
get
it.
it.
a 6-up
Yeah.
ward makes sense.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, and they're not like hefty saves as far as we can see. Like Prismatic Palisade would be the one I would say would have the best saves of all of them
Yeah.
because it's a giant golden wall of light, and that's only a 4-up, and
Mhm.
obviously cannot be modified unless there's a spell that interacts, like unless Mystic Shield is still around, but we haven't seen Mystic Shield, and I don't think it is. They can't take the commands. They might be able to get a buff, but it have to be specific from the unit because it has to call out manifestations and whatever buff is being given.
Yeah.
So for the most part, you're going to be a 4-up save, and you're going to be taking whatever Ren there is, and then you're going to have a 6-up ward. So I think having a 6-up ward is fair.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I might be jumping the gun here, but I am under the impression at this moment, based off of also what we see in the article we're going to talk about later with places of power, I think that endless spells or manifestations are gonna kind of suck. I think there's way too much magic removal in the game now.
Is that a
Thoughts?
case for them to maybe not suck then? Right? Maybe
Maybe they're a little bit better on the war scroll than they would normally be because they're so easily removed.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's my thought is that they will be actually pretty good. Like even let's just look at Quicksilver Swords, right?
Yeah.
12 attacks, threes and threes, one run, one damage. You can't make a ward save against it, and
Mhm.
they crit on they do mortal wounds on sixes.
Yeah.
So right now,
Pretty good.
Quicksilver Swords is 12 dice, and every 6-up is a mortal wound, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's basically that, except that you now have the ability to hit on threes, wound on threes, and have one rend
Yeah.
if you don't crit.
So it's
You know.
significantly better, right?
Yes.
Significantly better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Um, it is in fact significantly better.
Yeah. So
Just-
yeah. So my argument would be that these endless spells are going to be better because you can interact with them. Right. There's no such thing now as a list that cannot interact with endless spells
Yeah.
or invocations. So make them better. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
I mean, we absolutely have to see like what all the other scrolls look like, but that's my main worry here is just like, all right, are these going to be are these just going to be trash?
I
Like,
mean,
is
if
everyone
you,
going to be unbinding this shit?
if we're looking at places of power, like the when we talk about places of power, it's a
Yeah.
+1 to. It's not even a +1 to casting or to was it a +1 to banishing as well?
Well, it's giving you the ability to unbind. So, where is it at
Yeah,
here?
but that's only if your hero isn't a wizard or priest. You're not getting any benefits, and both of these are unbindable on a 7+, which on average you should theoretically be able to unbind it, but it's not a bonus to the unbind. So you're
Yeah.
just hard rolling a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do think your average unit can do 6 wounds to a 5-up save with a 6-up ward.
And that's the other part. It's obviously Paces of Power is a thing that is an anti this, but also the fact that you can attack it, right? And just deal damage to it. That's also, previously I cast an endless spell. I cast my Predator and it's like on a rampage and you fail to unbind it. It's there and you have to waste another unbind to try to get rid of it the next turn. And then if you fail there again, you have to waste another unbind to try and get rid of that. Where
Dude,
now it's like, all right, I'm just going to throw some chaff into it and kill it on my turn potentially.
do manifestations just start on the board?
That's what I was just thinking. I
Because you
think
meant
they might.
you mentioned the banishment, and that got me to thinking, well, what's the casting
What's the
value?
casting value? But there isn't one
There
listed.
isn't one.
Wait,
So
So
what?
do you,
yeah,
yeah,
there
yeah, look at
isn't one
them.
listed. They don't have that multicolored number like we've seen in all the spellcasts. Like oh,
Wait,
it's not
what?
even a multicolored number. I just realized it's the magic wheel. It has all the different lores of magic from scroll down to Tree Song. Look at the icon for Tree Song for the 6 to cast.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the casting value.
Yeah. But
It doesn't.
look at the symbol around it. Look at the symbol. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
magic wheel. It's the different lores. It's the lore of metal, the lore of life.
correct.
Like I didn't realize that. I just realized that now.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's okay.
I'm
No,
excited that it's
no, no.
cool.
I was like, wait, how's that relevant? What's happening?
It's not. It's not. It just I didn't
Well, no,
realize it
well,
when we were looking at it before.
no, it's relevant, right? Because these don't have
Those
a
are the
casting value. These
yeah.
don't have a
Yeah.
casting value.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, how do they get set up to begin with? That is, it doesn't say.
It doesn't. So I'm wondering if maybe they get set up, and then if you have a wizard, your wizard can bypass casting a spell to set them up again. Maybe.
Huh.
Okay.
So that way they're not because obviously you don't want to put something on the board that's 6 wounds, a 5-up ward, or 6 wounds, a 5-up save, and a 6-up ward, and then be like, if someone shoots this, it's just dead forever. You know what I mean?
Because
Well,
here's what
and
it
that's the
says for
other
moving
no
manifestations.
ranges either. Like
It
Prismatic
says
Palisade doesn't move.
because it's static, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the Quicksilver Swords does. It has an 8-inch movement.
yeah.
But look at moving manifestations, right? One of the rules says typically cannot be set up within 9 inches of enemy units when summoned,
When summoned.
and they cannot move in the movement phase, which means they move in the movement phase after
Oh yeah.
being set up. So yeah, I think there's just going to be a new rule that says, hey, you can forego one of your casts to just set up an endless spell that you have access to. No casting required. You
Yeah.
just do it.
Under summoning manifestations, as mentioned in our previous article, manifestations have been grouped into thematic lores. Wait,
Yeah.
this
It
is
doesn't
what,
say.
yeah, it literally does not say it here. It just says you will select a lore alongside your spell lore and prayer lore when building your army roster. Each manifestation provides spells or prayers which allow you to summon the manifestations in that lore. That's it. Nothing
That's it.
about anything else. That's
Nope.
super weird though, because it's like, especially like this Twillet Sorceries one, Umbral Spell Portal, and Palisade both do not move. So are you just setting them like? There's no range on them, no range on Palisade. So you're just dropping this in your deployment zone
I suspect that the range is wholly within 9 inches of the caster, and outside of 9 inches of
because of the moving manifestations need to be.
Yeah.
Well, in the case of Prismatic Palisade and the spell portal, they actually don't need to be more than 9 away when set up.
Yeah.
Which means you can throw them down, like you can walk up on a turn, and then if you then go like say your hero's in range, and he just goes, yes, let me just summon this Prismatic Palisade right in front of your 20 Sentinels and go, sorry, you were trying to shoot me? That ain't happening.
Wait. Why do you think you can set it up within 9?
Because it's not a, a moving manifestation. It's Prismatic Palisade. It's a static manifestation.
You're saying static ones can ignore enemies. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. My bad. Yeah.
No worries, no worries.
That's super wild.
So until we figure out when and how you bring them onto the battlefield, we know how to take them off the battlefield. But how do you get them on the battlefield? That's what we're still missing when it comes to where we can talk about how these will interact with how we're building our lists and everything like that. Unfortunately, because just right now we don't know. Will they be on the board right away? Will they be summonable, but you have to give up a cast? Will you be able to resummon them? We don't have all that information right now, so that's unfortunately leaving us with a big gap in the guessing. I think it's going to be you can give up a spell cast to resummon them, but I don't think you can resummon them the round that they're killed, or not the round that they're killed, but like the turn after they're killed. So it's the same rules you do now, where if they get banished, you can't bring them back the very next round or the very next turn. So like if I go second, Carlos then goes first in the next round. He can't. Or if I go second and I banish Carlos's thing, and then he goes in the first round or in the first turn of the next round, he can't resummon it that round or that turn.
So wild. I'm like moderately
but we don't know.
blown right now.
We don't know. Like this is all guesswork. We have no clue how this is going to interact.
It's shocking that they wouldn't include this at all. And then also nobody would notice. Like I've seen nobody talk about this at all. This is wild. Well, regardless of that, we have faction terrain, which is also different now.
Super different.
And in my opinion, awesome. I like this a lot. First thing that stands out from this scroll from the Magmic Battleforge, it has health, it has a save, it also has a ward. Amazing.
It also has 3 different terrain feature rules. It's got cover, impassable, and obscuring.
Yep.
Why does it have cover and obscuring?
For if you get in physical combat.
But then you won't be on it because you can't sit on top of the battle forge because it's impassable. It's not garrisonable. So
target a unit that is behind or wholly on this terrain feature unless the unit is charged. Okay, so yeah, it's literally a unit cannot be targeted. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, I don't know. That's a little bit it's a little weird.
We'll see. Maybe there's something we're not thinking of. The only thing I can think of is that you can theoretically shoot a flying target behind obscuring terrain, but what Fire Slayer's unit flies?
Yeah.
That would be relevant. And you can't like hit over pieces of terrain as we'll find out in the terrain article in a bit.
It's more of it's more bad for Fire Slayers if they want to throw an axe over their own battle force. They get.
It has to be something that's flying. Yeah.
Yeah. Throw something.
And then, yeah, I don't know. That's a weird one. I don't know why it's cover and obscuring, but we'll find out.
They're just trying to cover all their bases, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I bet you they're just covering all their bases for future. They're future proofing the terrain piece.
Yeah, because they're gonna get a big flying monster.
Oh fuck!
For a big flying Magmadroth monster. Let's go.
Also, seeing that this terrain piece is a 6-up board makes me think that the Feculent Narmal is gonna have a 5-up board. Let's go, baby. It better. It has to. It has to.
It should also be like 10 wounds for the Feculent Narmal. Being real.
And the Bone Tithe Nexus is going to be like 25 wounds because it's so big.
You wish.
Five wounds per pillar.
I listen, as much as I hate to say it, I think Jake might be onto something. It's going to be like 20 wounds.
It's going to be
because it's big. It's probably not. It's probably going to be a 5-up save because it's massive. It's like hitting the
Yeah.
broadside of a barn.
Yeah,
You're not.
You can't miss it.
Yeah.
Now that's
But
an interesting thing as well, though, that I just thought of. You can charge these, so actually placing your terrain in an aggressive position now is a little bit more challenging. Correct? I would assume you're able to charge these.
Sure.
it doesn't say.
I want you to charge my feculent normal
'Cause why?
so that I can give you diseases.
Hey, maybe you don't give diseases with it. Who knows?
Hey, you shut your dirty
We
mouth.
didn't see the rules yet.
You shut
Maybe
your
they don't even have
dirty-
diseases anymore.
You shut your dirty mouths. Oh
Look-
my god.
Looking at this scroll, though, just off the bat, in regards to just general design for a terrain piece, I think it's overall good. The health edition is great. The save characteristic and the ward is cool that you can now actually remove them without having a monster. All positives. I think the necessity to have a monster. Well, actually, I think it's more so the fear that somebody had with like my terrain piece. I always was like worried about a monster hitting it because it was nice to get the -1 to hit buff or debuff, right? So I was, whenever I fought someone that had monsters, I was very much like, all right, I need to be smart about my terrain piece. I can't just haphazardly toss it down somewhere, which was very much the case when I'm playing someone who has no monsters because I can just throw that baby up and it's a nice day for me. So it forces the player to think a little bit more about their terrain piece, utilize it smarter, think more about positioning, think about where they want it to be. Overall, all good. And then I think just generally as well, the once per battle ability on this one and the start of the turn ability here with just adding 1 to chanting for their priests as just a basic effect. It's just
Good
a
shit.
general good solid thing that
So-
overall is good.
I just double checked. I went back to the priests and wizards bit to look at what they said about how the new prayers work because
Yeah.
we went over that where on a 2-up you add that number of prayer points to your thing. On a 1 you subtract D3. Granted, this wasn't like the core rules that we were looking at. This was in the text of the article, but it didn't say unmodified.
Yeah. So this would allow them to never roll a 1 potentially if that's how that's kind of ruled, which is actually phenomenal.
I think that's
Which was good
super
for them.
fair.
That's super
And-
good for them.
I think that's probably going to be true across the board, which means that when we were talking about that, like, oh, well, it sucks if you roll a 1. If you have a +1 and you can still give yourself a +1 to this because of what we're going to talk about in the terrain features after this, because suggested terrain, I'm pretty sure all of the suggested terrain that we saw had at least 2 places of power available to your thing. So you can get one of your priests over to those places of power, and they might take D3 mortal wounds, but you're not losing any prayer points if you roll a 1 on the place of power thing.
Yeah, which is great, and that was this big scary for priests, right? Is rolling that 1 and having to remove prayer points. So just being able to nullify that is great. Yeah, overall I love this. I hope that this is the design they move forward with everything. It's just generally passive, feels good stuff rather than like super negative, feels bad on your opponent type stuff,
Is there any faction terrain that you want to call out that like wish list or yeah, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You mean what I'd like to see it do?
What you'd like to see it do? Thank you.
All right,
Yeah.
let me think about this one.
I think I'm
Alright,
gonna
so-
stick. I think I'm gonna stick with what I said earlier. I would want the Nurgle one to have a 5-up board, probably 5-up save, 5-up board, at least 10 wounds, and honestly, like let it fight you. Like,
Give me-
you come-
Give
if
me
you come
run and
near it-
charge back. Give me run and charge back. Just do it. I need it.
I would
I need it.
it would be
No,
cool.
I
It would be
want
cool
the
if it had
I want the Narmal to fight you.
Yeah.
If you're within engagement range, you are now fighting a Narmal.
it has a combat attack. That would be cool.
Yeah.
It's
That
got a
would be
mouth. A horrific mouth, but it's got a mouth. It can eat people.
Yeah, that would be sick.
So I'd also like to point out, I didn't realize this when we were talking about it. The once per battle ability, like that is truly you just throwing that terrain piece away at that point too, because you don't get to use the Molten Blessing from then on, which is the start of any turn ability that gives you +1 to your chanting rolls.
Ooh, I
Oh,
wonder if
wow,
they'll do
I didn't
that.
notice that.
Yeah,
I wonder-
I just reread it and I was like, wait, that's big.
I bet they do the same thing with the Maw Pot, but I bet if you refill the Maw Pot, you can use it again. It'll get its bonus back. That'll be cool.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to change I think the Maw Pot's fine where it's at. I don't think it's going to change that often.
But I'm saying I think the Maw Pot will be the same as the Battle Forge, where like, hey, if you eat the stuff from the Maw Pot, because the Maw Pot gives you a +1 to like casting, praying, and unbinding.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they'll do the same thing, where like, hey, if you empty the Maw Pot, you can't get those bonuses, but if you fill it back up, you got it again. So
Like kill models within range of the Maw Pot to fill it.
Yeah, and that's what it does now. I think the Maw Pot's not going to change all that much. I think honestly, if you're going to leave it that way, just maybe shorten the range at which it operates. Because right now it's 24 inches, right?
36 inches.
36. Yeah, shorten the range. Make it.
No, fuck you.
Bro, they just
Listen.
throwing body pieces across the map into the.
No.
Yeah,
Not
like,
the
back on the menu, boy.
the refill part is 9 inches.
6
inches?
Actually, 6 inches.
6 inches.
Actually.
So
Yeah.
a model dies within 6 inches of the Maw Pot currently, and it refills, which I don't think you did when you killed my general next to the Maw Pot at high ground. Not that you needed it, not that it would have changed anything, but I'm pretty sure my general. No, I'm pretty sure he was within 6. I just don't think you ever used it again, but you could have.
Oh, I thought you said
No, because you had used it the turn before, and then my general died. But that's
I'm gonna be real.
Neither
I don't
here nor
even
there.
know what the Maw Pot does.
it
gives you it gives you +1. It gives you +1 to casting, unbinding, and chanting, and then once per game, you can heal every unit within 36 inches of it D3, and then if you kill an enemy unit within 6 inches of it, do it again. Sorry, not a unit, a model. It is model.
Oh, that's nice.
It is nice. People just typically avoid it.
That's why I'm saying, like, if it refills, I think its range should go down, because if it refills, then what's the Magma Battle Forge got to do? You know, why does it not get to refill? Because they're basically the same rules.
You just got to put another pizza in the Battle Forge, you know.
You just gotta.
Ooh,
You know,
Sam,
if you're facing
Sam-
off against Sylvaneth, you should be able to cut down one of their trees and throw it in the
Throw it
forge.
in.
Yeah. Or if you're playing Nurgle, you know, as long as there's a tree on the enemy team and you can cut it down, you can throw it back in the forge and you're good to go.
one of our Sam says that his hot take is that the Loon Shrine will increase control of units
Ooh.
wholly within X of it, which are actually I dig it. I think that'd be really cool. As if stabbers
That would
weren't
be cool.
toxic, as if stabbers weren't toxic enough.
I
How
mean,
would they
now
do that?
now that I can shoot it to death with a unit, yeah, go for it. I don't give a shit. That's fine. That's the
think
thing.
that's
Like,
tough.
all of these terrain features, now that I can shoot them to death, like, I don't care.
For you,
It doesn't matter.
I
mean,
I just am imagining like anything that has a control or like a range like that. How would you be setting up your terrain feature? Because the objectives are so small now.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
someone just said something. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go
No,
ahead.
you're
Finish
good.
your thought.
I'm just word vomiting right now.
Well, no, someone just said something that I think opens up an interesting conversation. So John
I
says,
just read it too.
Yeah.
John says, it'd be interesting if zombies got nothing to their control. Do you think they'll have certain units have 0 to control?
You know what the terrifying thing is that you could tell me that zombies are 0 to control, and I'd be like, zombie spam's still a thing. You know why? You just put them around the objectives and put a hero on it. Who's going to kill that hero? Nobody?
I would like to see. I think it would be interesting. Make like something like zombies as a 0 or a dash control, but then have things that increase the control of zombies specifically. So like if they're like, it seems like they're removing wholly within from the game, so that would probably be tough to do. But I was gonna say, like, if they're wholly within 9 inches of a specific hero, they are +1 to their control, thus creating the need to not run them in gigantic ass blocks because they have to stay wholly within to count for anything. But I do think Rich's point is valid, where it doesn't really matter because the objectives are so small. You just walk in front of them.
Yeah, Sam says he could see Squig Herd being at 0 too. That'll be interesting.
Yeah,
And
if
if
herders
he
giving
says,
them.
yeah.
But
For
don't give him the recursion. Take that away. That recursion's too brutal.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. We haven't seen anything else other than this Battleforge with Control 0 and obviously the spells, or Control Dash. But yeah, what else? I mean, theoretically, if something could be Dash, it would be zombies. What else? Yeah, Squig Herd.
Aether Wings.
Yeah,
Aether Wings.
Aether Wings.
I would say Nurglings should probably be Control 0.
Yeah. Yep. I can see that.
Nurglings being Control 0. You could even make the argument that Griffhounds might be Control 0.
Nah, they're good boys.
Yeah, they're dogs.
Yeah, they're good boys. And they're getting a new model, so they probably won't be. They'll probably be, OP.
They're going to be
getting a new
Control
model.
5, bro.
I was saying, they're gonna increase control.
Yeah, they're gonna.
What about
honestly,
Noblars?
Noblars? Yeah,
Noblars,
should definitely
0.
be Control 0.
0.
That
I
if I ever ran that
Stabbers,
army, all Noblars for me.
I think Stabbers should be Control 0 unless they're within range of a hero.
No,
Or
Stabbers currently have the best control.
Yeah,
I know what I said.
Shouldn't, but they should.
I know what I said.
I said what I said.
That's not what I said. Just, I mean, if a hero's in range, sure, they've got control. Or if they're near the faction train, yeah, they've got control. That's fine. Maybe not Stabbers. Probably Shooters. Shooters and Fanatics, I would say, should probably be Control 0.
Shooters and looters.
There's not too many.
Hobgrots?
No. Yeah.
So when it's it's your models.
Yeah, you're right. Listen, if the Stabbers have control, then the Hobgrot should have control. But I don't think Shooters should have control.
What do you got for me, Jake?
All right, so I just read this. Like static manifestations, faction terrains features don't threaten units around them, so you can freely move up to them. Blah 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 blah. But unless they have a hero placed in them, for example, in the case of the Skull Altar, some faction terrain features can even move and fight. Stay tuned for faction focus articles to learn more.
Narmals are gonna fight. Narmals are gonna fight. Yes, baby.
And move, maybe.
Oh man. Honestly though, like how cool would it be for Sylvaneth trees to move like fucking Lord of the Rings?
They're already ace.
The trees are moving.
All right, so let's think about this. What faction terrains do you think move?
Normal.
I don't think the Narwhal is going to move. I think it might fight.
It's
the Lumineth Shrine.
Shrine Luminor is definitely moving. It's a floating rock. Why couldn't it move? Yeah. Get in there. Yeah, dude. I'm in. I'm sold. Give it to me now, please. Well, you know what? We'll know on Saturday.
Oh, yes, we will.
We will. We'll know on Saturday. And we'll learn about the Narma, or not the Narma, the Gnaw holes. Sorry. I got the GNs confused.
Yeah.
We'll know about the Gnaw holes.
I could see the Gnaw holes moving for sure. It makes thematic sense.
I could see them doing something with the Gnaw holes where it's like remove one of the holes and place it somewhere else. Like they teleport around like that. That would be really cool.
Oh, you know who is I'm calling it right now. You know who else is going to absolutely move? The Seraphon Temple. They are literally in the lore. They are spaceships. That's what those temples are. They are spaceships.
So, that's going to be so disgusting.
So like those those Realm Shaper engines are absolutely moving.
Imagine how much area denial you're going to have with a moving Seraphon Temple though. That's the only thing I'm concerned about.
I think that's the biggest terrain that isn't the Bone Tithe Nexus.
I think it might be slightly bigger than the Bone Tide Nexus, only because it's
No, it's smaller.
What?
It's
Is it?
it's yeah, it's
The Realm
smaller.
Shaper engine?
I've had them both in
Yeah.
I've had them both in the same building.
Oh yeah, Realm Shaper engine it is shockingly smaller than you think
Yeah.
when you actually see it.
It's
All right,
about
fair
the
enough.
it's about the size of the middle pillars like section on the Bone Tide Nexus. But
You know what's
yeah,
funny
Carl,
is
I was-
I am positive that I actually have both of them. Yeah, they're actually sitting right next to each other right now.
that checks out. I mean, you have a why would you have both? You have both those armies.
I don't have mine.
Well, Carlos is cooler than you. That's
I don't
what it
know.
is,
I don't know
guess.
where my I have a Bone Tide Nexus somewhere else, and then I also have one that's not put together in a box for some reason.
Oh, do you need it? Because
I-
I need it.
I do.
All right, so here's
You
what they
son
look
of a
like
bitch.
next to
Okay.
each other.
Yeah, but put them
Sure.
put them upside down like they're basic. Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
that
you're
baby's
right.
a big
You're right.
boy.
Yeah, they're both big. They're both big. They're both sizable.
I think that Realm Shaper engine's got to be number 2 for sure in terms of size. I don't think there's anything else.
The triple Sylvaneth tree is theoretically a bigger footprint, but it's not blocking movement, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not as big a deal.
Oh, actually, it's funny. I have another one right here. The Loon Shrine is bigger than I would say is bigger than the temple. Look at that.
Oh, put them base to base.
It's skinny.
Oh, it's about
Yeah.
It's about a diagonal. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would say it's smaller by
I would too.
any measurement. It's smaller. What, Carlos?
It's definitely
Look at how much extra room on the side you have for activities.
There's no possible way on earth that's bigger.
You're holding them right next to each other.
It's so weird that I have so much goddamn faction terrain just sitting next to me.
You've got the Hearthstone floating around there too, don't you?
You never know.
I do have the Hearthstone, but
Yeah.
that one's in a little box over there. Yeah.
Sam just said in the chat, he goes, "There's an article that says Trogs can drag the Loon Shrines across the battlefield."
That checks out.
Ooh,
That checks out.
that's interesting. That's pretty cool.
Moving terrain's going to be wild.
Yeah,
you think?
very weird.
Fucking love it. Good catch, Jake.
Yeah, that's
God
gonna be whack.
Damn, that's gonna be fun.
But yeah, so that's all she wrote on that one there. So TLDR, we've got the changes to the terrain, which seem to be incredibly awesome. We don't know if they're going to cost points, but I'm assuming they're not going to, just based on history and the fact that they're also removing points apparently from endless spells. But
I do want to make another quick call out before we move on to the next page.
Yeah.
We did get our first official keyworded unlimited spell at the bottom of this one.
Yeah, we did.
It's from the Sylvaneth lore.
Mm-hmm.
Tree Song. It's a casting value of 6, and they can, if there are less than 3 awakened wildwoods on the board, they can set up another one, and if there are 3 or more, they can start healing all of them on the battlefield, which is awesome.
And they heal 3.
And it's unlimited. So literally, they can just start. They could summon all their wildwoods right off the bat, right off the cuff.
That's the second unlimited spell, right? Because the gash is unlimited as well. Yeah.
It actually doesn't have the keyword unlimited. It's actually just called out on the spell
war
itself,
Yeah.
on the war scroll. Yeah,
Hey.
but it doesn't have the keyword unlimited. So
I
it's
think
something
I would imagine
It
the
might as
reason
well, though,
for
right?
that. I would imagine
Yeah.
the reason for that is there will most likely be an interaction with unlimited spells that stop them or some. I don't know what it would be, but
Perhaps.
I would imagine there's a reason for them not adding unlimited to Nagash's, because either they want him to or don't want him to have a negative or positive interaction with whatever that is that interacts with unlimited, right?
Yeah. Or it could just be something as simple as, hey, we didn't feel the need to give it that because only Nagash can do it anyway.
Yeah,
So
true. But overall, yeah, I mean that's a good point as well. I like that too, that they're able to, pop up a bunch of trees a little bit easier, and it's unlimited. It's not like I always felt like it was kind of rough for Sylvaneth players to be like, all right, I'm gonna try to cast my tree, and then it doesn't go off, and then they're like, well, okay, I lose the game now.
what I like is that this also, I feel like a lot of Sylvaneth players have always kind of like had when you're getting into an army, right? Well, especially like Sylvaneth, people will ask like, "Oh, how many trees do I need?" Right? Well, the answer's three. Like that's your answer. It's three. You only need three. You don't have to worry about any more than that.
Yeah, you're not summoning. You don't have your 3 trees set down in a circle, and then you're summoning another 4 trees throughout the course of the battle to give you more teleport zones. You're like, hey, you've got 3 trees. Do you have 3 trees? You're not summoning any more trees with this spell. You're healing them.
Yep.
They're staying,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah.
Because that as a player who has played against Sylvaneth a fair number of times, that was always annoying to be like, oh well, I have to pay attention to where can he put the trees down and how can I stop it, and it's like so much nitty gritty nonsense that you have to keep track of. And then for the Sylvaneth player, they have to bring all those trees, and that's a nightmare in and of itself.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm hoping that 3 tree limit is accurate.
Yeah,
And
that would be
there's nothing that breaks it or anything like that.
good for everyone involved
Mhm.
across the board. But yeah, overall, this is that's the big changes to endless spells and terrain that we know so far. I think generally positive on everything. I'm here for it all. I think it's all
Yeah.
great changes. Only thing,
Nothing stands out as horrid for me.
yeah, only thing that is kind of pending to see how it plays out is obviously the Crown Spine being the Crown Spine and its own thing, and then just the cluster of spells might be a little bit clunky. Hopefully they stock these spells as well, like in vast amount, assuming that everyone will be buying them now and needing them.
I also hope that they're selling, because I don't think all of them are in their own boxes right now. I don't think the manifestations are coming in the specific boxes. Like I don't know for sure.
they're
So
all
I would
in the one big box with every spell.
well, there's two. There's 2 different endless spell boxes. There's the
Correct.
malevolent.
There's this one with the death spells, and then there's the other one with all of the other ones. Basically,
It's called the big one's called Malign Sorcery. The smaller one's called Forbidden Power.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that we're getting a box with like boxes of manifestation lores.
Yeah.
It'll be a big moneymaker for them for sure. So
Yeah.
because
I mean,
no
like,
reason not to.
The Morbid Conjuration box, right? Like,
Yeah,
it comes
I
with
don't
those three spells.
I don't have any of them because the only endless spells that I've ever played with are the Lumineth ones, unless I'm borrowing an endless spell from Carlos.
Mhm.
So I'll definitely be buying boxes of those
Yeah,
when that comes around. Especially since they're free.
$60
Probably.
price point for each box. That gives you a pretty big profit from GW comparatively, right?
I hope it's more like 40.
There's no chance.
The
No
box
chance.
with the big box is 90.
The box with 3 should probably be 40.
Yeah, that's
the
what I'm
box
saying.
the box with 4 should probably be 55.
Even
Yeah,
though
be
the
60,
Malign
boys.
Sorcery box was $90.
How many
Yeah.
endless spells were there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in that box.
Yeah.
There's
13?
90. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, maybe 30 for 4 then, or 30 for 3, 40
There's no
for 4.
shot, dude. It's gonna be 60. I'm telling you. There's no way it's
That's
not gonna be 60.
such bullshit.
Well, hold on. Let's not get up in arms. We have no idea.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, that's
we don't
true.
even know if they're gonna sell them in specific boxes.
Yeah,
like
they
this.
might just not. They might just say, "Well,
Good
go
luck
buy the
finding
2
them.
boxes." Yeah, and
Yeah, I don't
everyone will
know.
just cry.
If I had to place a bet, I think I'd place a bet on them dropping all the boxes separately, and they're $60 each because we know GW likes money.
We'll see. All right, what's our next article that we're talking about?
Yep.
Is it Spearhead?
No, so I figured
Okay.
talk about the stuff that is important first. Sorry,
Fair.
Terrain rules?
Yeah, so terrain rules
Yeah.
here.
right.
Basically, this is what I've been wanting forever. This is like this made me so happy when this dropped. We're getting universal terrain rules that are good. We have cover, -1 to hit for attacks that target a unit behind or wholly within or wholly on the terrain feature, unless it has charge or fly. Awesome, we love it. Impassable, which is big for me. I love impassable terrain. It makes the map feel like it's an actual map and not a flat piece of ground with litter on it. Models cannot move across, be set up on, or end moves. on any part of this terrain feature, which is different from how the I guess homebrew impassable previously would typically work,
No,
which you could fly over
impassable.
impassable.
Correct.
That's true. The thing is that right now we're assuming, because we see fly called out in two of these rules. We see it called out in cover and in or is it just cover that it's called
It's
out
just
in?
And obscuring. And obscuring.
And obscuring. That's right. So we see the fly keyword called out in those rules. So we're thinking that impassable no longer has a
You
fly
can't fly.
clause.
Yeah.
But the fly clause originally in 3.0 is not on the impassable terrain rules. It's in the fly rules.
Hmm.
So we'll have to make sure that they don't have that. But because it's called out in two other specific places, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't call it out here if it was an exception.
Yeah.
It would just be so much cleaner to do it here than it would be to do in fly rules.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I agree. So my assumption at the moment, just based on what we have, is you can't fly over it, which I sort of like that. I think it's fine, and I think it makes the battlefield more dynamic. It's obviously an issue for flying armies, though.
So yeah, we were talking about this in the Discord, and with how fly, assuming that fly no longer goes over obscuring, and also or no longer goes over passive. My apologies, and is now a barrier to you getting obscuring, and is a barrier to you getting cover, which are all rules that changed. My guess is that fly does something absolutely bonkers. Aside from being able to go over units when you charge them, I think fly is going to do something silly like be able to flee from combat
yeah,
before you fight or something. Like something wild is going to happen with fly because right now
Retreat
fly is a
without taking
detriment.
the D3.
Hold
I
on.
think
Are you
somebody
guys
mentioned.
time out? Are you guys under the impression? Ooh, that's interesting. So, are you guys under the impression that if you have fly, you don't get cover?
Yeah,
That is exactly what it says. It
Yeah.
says subtract one from hit rolls for attacks the target unit is behind or wholly on the terrain feature, unless that unit, the unit that's trying to get the -1, has charged or has the fly keyword.
Right, but that doesn't mean that if you have the fly keyword that you can't benefit from cover.
No, that's exactly what it means.
yeah. What
Why?
do you mean?
Like,
Because
so,
it literally
let me-
says
Let me
subtract-
read it. Subtract one from hit rolls for attacks that target a unit that is behind or wholly on this terrain feature, unless that unit, the unit that we're talking about, charged or has the fly keyword.
When
So
would you ever? When would you ever? When would you ever be in a position where you would be targeting something? Oh, I guess if you're clapping back, if they charged you, sure. If they charged you,
Yeah, so like let's say we
I
have a
charged
piece of
into a
yeah.
wildwood or something,
and
or onto a
like
flat terrain.
yeah, let's say there's a wildwood in the center. It's giving cover. I've got a unit of 5 wind chargers in that wildwood. That unit of 5 wind chargers gets charged by a unit of Mortec Guard. My 5 wind chargers, if they have the fly keyword, which they might or might not, we'll find out when we find their rules, won't get cover in that wildwood.
If they have
Even
one,
though
yeah.
they were charged and did not charge, they won't get cover in that wildwood. A Caradron Overlord's boat, a gun hauler that's behind a piece of terrain that's giving cover won't give cover, won't benefit from cover because they're flying over the cover.
Yeah.
I think grammatically speaking, you're correct. I think there's a chance, a small chance that what
I don't
Shut
at
up.
all.
that what GW may have thought they were saying is that if you have fly, you ignore cover. Like if you are a flying unit that shoots, you ignore cover saves.
I don't think that that's what they're trying to say here. I think it's eminently clear that a unit that charged or a unit that flies does not benefit from cover.
Grammar is on your side, and I'm willing to bet you are 90%. Like you're probably right. If I was a betting man, you're probably right.
Okay.
I'm just saying I'm willing to
All right. So this is
accept
this
that-
is
You're willing to
GW
make
might
this-
be dumb.
yeah, I'm willing to accept that GW might have fucked this up.
Yeah. but not as will. I'm not as willing to accept it as GW definitely fucked up power through.
Fair.
Like
No
this is a very different situation where I feel like GW fucked up how they were trying to talk about power through. I feel like they know what they're talking about here. And
Okay.
that's why I think Fly is going to have some wild fucking rules that we're not familiar with this particular time.
Yeah.
Because
sure.
right now, aside from being able to charge over a unit, which isn't going to be as impactful because objectives are going to be so small that charging over a unit probably still doesn't put you on an objective, on a 3-inch objective if you're
Retreat and
careful
charge
about
on
how.
everything that flies.
Not even retreat and charge. Make it so that like they can choose when they go to fight to not be eligible to be picked as a target for fighting. They don't get to retreat, but they just like say they charge into a unit and like say I'm playing Lumineth and I charge some of my flyboys in and I realize that I'm a little bit too up in arms. So I'm like, all right, this unit's gonna die. They just fly up.
They just
They
go
don't
away.
take
Yeah.
they don't go away. They stay right where they
in
are.
combat.
They
Interesting.
they stay there, but neither they nor the unit that they're in combat with gets to attack each other.
That would be interesting.
So like if you're a character on Overlord's boat and you charge in, but you're like, fuck, I'm gonna get bodied by these chosen that I charged into. You just
select
go
it to fight, and then boop, you go away.
you just select it to fight and it just flies up, and then the chosen are there, the boat's there, they're both just kind of staring at each other
It's like Pokemon.
across the middle distance. You know?
It's like Pokemon.
That's-
Interesting.
That's what it's got to be something wild because right now, like I said,
Cool.
fly is mostly a detriment with a minor being able to fly over your enemies when you charge
Yeah,
or move.
that'd be very cool. But we don't know. We'll find it out.
We don't know. We don't know.
Places of power, which is down at the bottom here, right here. So, started of any turn. Pick a friendly hero within 3 inches of any place of power. Roll a dice. On a 1, take D3 mortals or damage on that hero. And on a 2-up, you can add 1 to their casting rolls. Or, if they're not a hero, you can unbind or banish a manifestation.
Or
as a
casting
hero.
or chanting, they get the +1 too.
Yeah, casting, chanting for wizards and priests. So, big stuff here. As we were kind of mentioning earlier, this potentially is very good for priests who will potentially no longer take the reduction in their
Chanting values.
chanting value, and obviously, +1 to cast is just good for wizards. So we love it. So that's good there. We have the same device breakdown here with these recommended terrain, and as we kind of mentioned there, we have places of power on here. So we have the 2 places of power there. We have, now that we know what these all do, we have the obscuring terrain, which would be these right there, and then we have the area terrain or obstacles, which would be the rest. So I think that just makes the terrain mapping and everything a little bit better. You can add multiple terrain types, as we've seen multiple times throughout this, to individual pieces of terrain. So something can be an impassable place of power. Something can be you could have a little like a lake or something that gives you cover and is also a place of power, like a magical lake. So you can create like these thematic different types of terrain layouts. So overall, I think very
pretty cool. Yeah.
very good stuff here. This is probably my favorite article we've seen so far, to be honest.
There's also a lot of stuff that's called out in the text. It calls out specifically, Carlos. In cover, it says offer to your units a modicum of protection unless they're fresh off a charge or flapping around in the air. So they called it out separately in there.
Okay.
So it's for sure what it grammatically reads like, I'd assume, unless they managed to mess up twice, which who knows.
So what if they say, hey, universal terrain abilities, cool. Like if you're flying, you thematically cannot benefit from this. But then what if it says flying units ignore universal terrain abilities?
There's no way they would do that. That'd be so clunky.
Well, because think about it, right? No. Why would it be, right? So let's take each one for example. Cover, okay? Subtract 1 from hit rolls. You don't have to do that if you have the fly keyword. Impassable. You can move over and be set up on impassable terrain because you can fly. Obscuring. I can see you because I'm flying above. I'm flying above, the tree line, so I can absolutely target you if I'm in the air and I'm shooting at you. Places of power. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe you can't benefit from places of power.
But
if you
why
have the fly
would
keyword.
they put, unless it has the fly keyword, in two of them if they were going to also make a rule that just said never mind?
Yeah, no, I don't think that makes any sense.
Because that's currently what Fly says. Fly currently says ignore terrain rules. So if they keep that, then okay, this has you get no benefits, but you get no positive or negative benefits from from cover or from obscuring,
I mean,
which I think
yes,
which does make sense, right?
but
Like
they
how
would
can
just
you get it?
not put the fly section there.
No, because they also want to call out the fact that you as a flying unit cannot benefit from cover as well.
I get what you mean. That it just feels so
I
clunky and not
no.
the correct way to say it.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
all
don't.
right,
I
all
don't
right.
think that's how it's going to. I don't think that's how it's going to go down.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we didn't talk about unstable.
True.
Unstable means that you can move across it, but you can't be set up on any part of this terrain feature that's more than 1 inch tall.
Which
So,
I love.
um,
Set up or
the
end any type of move.
yeah,
So it's like a rickety bridge.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a rickety bridge. You can run across it, but if you stop on it, you fall.
You die.
There is also something where you can clamber over terrain features that are 1 inch tall or less, and it does not cost you any extra move.
That's good.
Yeah.
So if you got like a little fence, you're not like, oh well, now I have to track the 1 inch up and then the 1 inch down. No,
Yeah.
you're
I had
over it.
I had someone do that to me at Rubicon, and I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah, well,
It's
you
like
won, so.
You can't finish a move mid climb.
subtract one from that because you have to go over that. I was like, okay, bud. And then I think I rolled and I rolled like a 12 to charge, and I was like, cool.
You want me to subtract one from that, too?
Um, so you can't finish a move mid climb, which was a thing that you could do before, which is no one ever did
Yeah.
because
People. Okay, first of all, Rich, people tryhards did.
I've never had that happen to me in a game. But you're probably right. The
I've-
other
I-
thing you can do is you
I-
can now
yeah.
jump down from a piece of terrain. So say you're on like a 2 inch tall piece of terrain, you made it to the top, you took position on top of it, you're taking advantage of the cover, but you got to get down. You can just hop down, but you can't move afterwards.
Sure.
That's
Love it.
super interesting. I love those
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah. They even called out that there's going to be rules for if I wish I hadn't gotten rid of that thing now. If you like, let's say like one of your dudes is like up here, and your enemy is right here. There's going to be rules for being able to target people that are up there. They called it out in this article as well.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, there's no longer going to be situations where you're like, oh, can I reach you? It's like, no, yes, I can.
Yeah.
The other thing that they called out is that you're no longer bashing people through walls.
Yeah. I like that as well.
It's weird because that's a thing in 40K, and I don't know why they would specifically take that away in Sigmar.
Because it sucks, man. It just sucks. I don't remember who I played, but I was playing someone who was rocking Gits, and they had all their netters and stuff like all around a thing, and I had my Immortus Guard in there with them, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fight them. He's like, how? I'm like, I can just hit you through the wall, bro. And he's like, what? Like, he didn't know that, and it feels bad. It's just like stupid mechanic to be able to hit through the wall.
Not only
I mean-
that, but we're also not tying up because you're not in combat range if you can't see them.
Yeah.
So
I
you
love
can't
that.
like
Where's it say that?
right below the picture with the Sylvaneth, like right at the top, like right below the first picture. It says any model from the lowest clan rank to the most imposing reclusian can hide from another's line of sight by hunkering down behind terrain. This is important for combat range because you're only in combat if you're both within combat range and visible to the opponent.
Oh, I see.
You cannot charge units lurking behind solid walls, which is
Oh,
something that I had happen to me at Kansas City Open when I was playing Cody. Cody? No.
You can absolutely charge someone that you can't see in 40K.
Yeah, and you can do it. You can do it currently in AOS, but not in fourth.
Yeah,
No, sir.
which I
No,
think is
no,
good.
no.
I like that.
I think you're gonna have like agreed upon situations with your opponent because
Like
I
if there's
know
a
that
window or something.
if there's windows or if it's like
Like
the
a
walls
hole
are
in
at
the wall.
the walls have a bunch of gaps in them, right? Like you're gonna have
Yeah.
to really that's gonna be something you're really gonna have to like talk about.
Well, I think we'll just have
Um,
to be very specific with what's obscuring and not. Like if it's an obscuring terrain, then you can't see through it. If it is a just an unstable terrain and it's a wall with windows or something, then you can get through. You could charge through that. Depends on the type of
Yeah.
terrain and how that all like what you decide to allocate your terrain features to.
Yeah, but
You know?
I wanted to call that out because that is different.
Yeah.
I
think
it's
that's
a wild.
I
I
think
think
that's
it's a good
generally
change.
good change. I just think what this article really is doing is it's just showing that they're solving a lot of the things that people complained about, which are like terrain being completely meaningless. Right? Like this is giving it some meaning, giving the map some depth. In a different
without
way
having
from
you
40K.
and without having you roll the mysterious terrain.
Yes, which also everyone hated. So it's like
Yes.
remove the stuff people hate, add things that people think might solve the problem.
So Jake, bring up this picture really quick, if you don't mind. I posted it in our Discord, the with the three of us.
Let me see.
So pull up this picture and like something like this. Like, what do you tell your opponent in this case? Like, hey, you absolutely can charge and target me.
Hold on, this is
Is it
messing me
obscuring
up.
terrain?
There we go. All right.
So is it? So I guess is that what you would say? You would tell your is you're like, hey, so if we're going to
Yeah.
say it is obscuring,
I
would not say this is obscuring because there's too many gaps.
Yeah, so I would walk up to the table and I'd be like, all right, so there's a bunch of holes in this. Is this obscuring? Is this unstable? How do we want to determine this terrain? Or is it predetermined by the TO?
Yeah, true.
So
I would, in my opinion, I would probably give it cover. Yeah, I'd give it cover, but I wouldn't give it obscuring. It's just there's too many gaps.
Yeah.
yeah,
no,
I don't think
no.
I would either. I think you would be able to charge. You would be able to charge this, but I would make it like an unstable terrain so that you can't finish on it. That's just like on the walls or whatever. Or like maybe you know what this would be to me? Impassable cover. It's not obscuring though, so you can see through it and charge through it, but it's impassable. You can't land on it. You have to
So-
go around it.
Impassable is weird in this case, because you'd have to decide whether someone can stand at the window on the inside. Because there's a part of the terrain that's on the floor there. So if it's impassable or
You can't
unstable,
stand on it.
you can't stand on it, which would just make this piece of terrain kind of, in my opinion, lesser.
Yeah.
I think it would have to not have those rules, but I don't think it would be obscuring. I think it would give cover though.
Yeah, cover for
It
sure.
would give cover, it'd be an obstacle because there is a thing called obstacles, and it doesn't have like a specific rule to it, but it is called an obstacle or called out as an obstacle.
Yeah.
Sure.
It could also you could also just say like anything that's flat and like flush with the ground you can stand on.
Okay, I like
You know,
that. Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
it's flush with the ground, you can stand on it. But anything
Yeah.
that goes over 1 inch is considered like an impassable piece on this terrain feature.
Sure.
You know?
Well, then at that point you do. Well, in that case, then you do just call this out as unstable then,
Yeah.
because the bottom floor is not more than an inch tall. So
yeah.
yeah.
So anything that's more than an inch is unstable.
Oh,
and
yeah, no, you're right.
Boom.
Yeah,
and
so
then
we
you
could,
can
so we can make this cover and unstable. Got
stand
it.
Yep.
on it, charge through it. You can hit through the windows if you're in combat there. It doesn't turn off the combat range because you have visibility. You could charge around it, but you can't go through it because it's impassable or unstable, depending on how you want it.
Unstable. Yeah,
Depending on how you
yeah.
want to determine it. But yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. Well,
right.
we've been going long.
Rats?
Let's just crush through the rats. Let's go through the new models. So
Sure, yeah.
we've got the rats. This was the first new model. Giselles.
The Giselles. They look great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they look good.
They're actually they're probably my favorite Skaven unit in Total War Warhammer, because they're just so broken.
I just enjoy the
So
very, very long gun. I just like it. Like,
yeah,
give
Jezzails and
me more
Ratling gunners.
long guns.
It gives me it's obviously not as long as the gun from Trigun, where that guy had that sniper rifle that was like a mile long or something silly.
Oh Jesus.
I don't know if you guys remember that from like the original Trigun, but there was a guy with a mile long sniper rifle, and it was silly. It was outrageous, but it was hilarious to see. It's not quite that long, but it is ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's like three rats high, three rats tall. It's a
yeah, I
hell of a
love it.
gun.
I
Oh,
think it's
Kane the
great.
long shot. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, are you looking it up now? You're looking at that. You're looking at that
Yeah.
dumb rifle. Yeah, it's dumb. I don't know what you want. It's dumb.
Yeah, I love it. I love the paint job on it too. I like the like kind of blue melty stuff on the top, like sludge or something is like dripping
Yeah,
down the shield. Just looks really good. It's well
and
done.
it's put like a patina on the viewing port. You can see there's like a greenish patina on there from the sludge.
Yeah,
It's a really nicely painted model. Um,
yeah, yeah. I'm a big
I
fan.
like it.
I like it. I like it. Nothing
Uh,
necessarily learned big here. The only thing that we kind of saw was the effect that they have for their sniper unit. So if this
yeah,
model is not used a move ability this turn, and was not set up this turn, add 1 to hit rolls for the shooting. So just an example of an effect you can have. Obviously, this is in your turn in your shooting phase, which makes that clear. So this wouldn't apply if you're doing the
covering fire.
fire. But regardless, it seems like this is going to be a pretty lethal, swingy type of a
Well, it tells you. It's
shooter.
funny because they didn't show us the profile. They told us the profile.
Yeah.
So
True.
so they get 2 attacks each. They wound on threes, 2 Ren, 2 damage,
Yep.
and a plus
And
1 to hit.
but we
So
don't know what they hit on.
I'm gonna guess they hit on probably fours, and if they don't move, they'll hit on threes.
I would say they're hitting on three space.
Yeah, I agree with Rich. I don't think there's any way these guys are not hitting on threes
So
base.
think about it. These guys with the new engineer, or is it engineer or whoever it
Yeah,
is, he
uh,
can,
Warlock. Yeah.
these guys are gonna be sniping heroes off the board, baby.
Yeah, they are.
Sniping heroes off the board. Two attacks each, 2 Ren, 2 damage.
They
Can
want you to
target
buy
any
them,
hero.
man.
Shit.
They want you
All
to
right,
buy them.
you might be right. You might be right. They might be fours and down to threes. But
Yeah.
the question is, can they also take advantage of all out attack, or are we still limiting them to +1? Can they get to a 2-up if you all out attack and don't move with them?
I don't see why GW would change their mind about that now. Keep it at cumulative +1.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I
Um,
like it.
Okay.
the only thing that they're missing, that they had currently, they're an extra shot now because they were one shot before.
Hmm.
The only thing that they're missing now is that they don't do mortals on sixes, as far as we know.
Well, as far as we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, assuming that they didn't just neglect to tell us that, they're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason why I think it could be a 3 to
What's
hit.
their current Ren damage?
2 and 2, I think.
Currently still?
Mhm.
Okay.
I think the only thing that changed is that it went up to 2 shots, and I think they're threes. I can't check because my phone's bored.
I'd rather get 2 shots than crit on sixes.
Yeah, me too. Especially
That's
with,
Yeah.
especially with one
mathematically better.
dice.
Yeah. It's
But
mathematically better
but
for sure.
you're getting 3 shots per unit because they're a 3-man unit. So now you're getting 6 shots per unit.
No, I think they're
I think it's a one-man unit.
one. I think it's a 1-man unit.
Could one of you guys pull it up because I cannot.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
I
I
have-
literally cannot pull up the app because my phone's blocked.
Oh, they are a 3-man unit for 110 points.
Huh.
So okay, so you'd be getting 6 shots. God damn.
That's why I think you might be right on their fours to normally, because 6 shots, threes and threes, or twos and threes is kind of brutal.
Yeah, I was imagining these guys as a one dude.
No, They're a 3-man unit.
Well,
Three,
there you go.
six rats, 3 models. Six
Love
rats,
it.
3 models. That's the trick.
So actually, right now they currently have this ability.
The if they don't move their +1 to hit.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that means they do hit on 2s. But they're getting an extra attack. Damn.
Yeah.
They might be losing. I mean, we
Yeah.
don't know if they have the Pavis rule either.
This so warp stone snipers is the first half of Pavis, because Pavis is +1 to hit and +1 to save with missile
Against shooting
attacks.
attacks, yeah.
Against shooting attacks, yeah. So maybe they lost the second part. Sure. I mean, they're a 5-up save, 2 wounds apiece. Let them hit on 2s. Fuck it.
That's what I'm saying. Give them the rat snipers.
Let them
Yeah,
have
do
it.
something.
Let them have it.
And then the last model is this one dog that we got.
One dog.
One
dog.
dog.
It's
fine.
I would like to see 3 dogs specifically.
He's a good
Ow.
boy.
Ow.
I mean, full transparency, not a fan of this, to be honest. I like the old ones
Really?
better. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Maybe only the leader has the helmet. Maybe the other ones. Do you not like the helmet? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I just don't like its like shape. Something about it's just off to me. Like
He's so pompous. I don't like the way he looks at me with that arrogance.
I don't-
do
I think it might just be a weird angle to get the shot from. Like we're looking at its face like dead on.
Yeah,
It might look better from the side, like or from like an angle, but it looks a little bit awkward.
I don't like the color either. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
know.
but I mean that's more on the person painting it than this particular thing. Like I wouldn't judge the model based on the color.
Yeah.
He has a bit of a shaggy Griffhound, right? Like
Yeah,
compared to the normal ones.
He's something
More Hound than Griffin. Yeah, I like it.
It's not bad, but I mean, it's not like Griffhounds were something that I really cared about a lot, so it's not that big of a deal to me. But just something about it isn't. It's not clicking. Like I actually liked the other Griffhounds. Like I saw them and I'm like, yeah, I could run some of these. But this doesn't. I don't know. It's just not doing it to me. Something about it. Maybe it's just the way it's looking at me.
That's what I'm saying. I think it might just be the angle. I think if it was like
it's just making me
twisted slightly.
uncomfortable. You know, he's looking straight into my eyes, like into my soul.
Are you guys ready for Celebrity Spearhead?
Yeah.
With wrestlers.
That's gonna be so good.
Yeah, I didn't see the. I mean, I
only
saw
if they
it,
start hitting each other with chairs in the middle of the game.
It'd be great.
And that's the last thing is the big reveal coming, right? So we have.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
7 o'clock our time.
This
right?
Thursday. Yeah.
Do we want to talk about Spearhead or no?
No.
Okay.
Oh no, 7. Yeah, no, yeah. Sorry, yeah, 7 o'clock our time. Yeah, 7 o'clock our time for the reveal. 8 o'clock for the Spearhead, and then honestly, Saturday I'm probably gonna sit here and watch the. Oh no, I'm gonna be at ASEN Saturday.
ASEN's this weekend.
ASEN's this weekend. I'm not gonna watch the master class. Book.
That's
I'll
foolish.
probably watch it all. But
that's a foolish decision, sir.
We can talk about all that stuff on Monday because that'll be
Yeah.
a bunch of information to go through. So
we
should make sure one of us records it.
that's
Just
a
in
good
case
idea.
they don't.
I think I might be able to do that. I could probably.
Well, it's
We'll
it's going to be on Twitch, so you should be able to see it in VODs.
Unless they don't save it, which I don't know. If one of us could record it, it'd be better for us all around.
Yeah, I think I can, depending on what the situation is. But I know we'll. I think people wanted to do.
Too.
Yeah, people wanted to do a like watch it in Discord together type thing. So I might be streaming it there.
Okay.
But whatever works, we'll get it somehow. But yeah, I'm
So
excited for that.
We're getting the launch box on Thursday. Is that right? We're going to know what the launch box is on Thursday.
Yep.
And then there's something on Saturday that's a reveal, but they didn't tell us what's being revealed on Saturday. It's in the middle of the day, and I don't know what's being revealed. It might even be 40K stuff, but there's
it's a preview show for 40K Horus Heresy.
Did they call it out in the
it's
article?
all the 40K stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all the not Sigmar stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're getting the master class
Saturday.
That's the only thing that we've got for Age of Sigmar.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the Spearhead thing, and the box on Thursday.
On Thursday, yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to the box.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good.
I wanna know. I want to
Mhm.
know.
It's coming. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
I'm super hungry. Like I'm about to die, and I
All
also have
right.
to pee.
Well, go do the thing, man. Go make it happen.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Let's outro it.
yeah, that's all. That's
Wrap it
all
up.
she wrote. We'll see you guys on Monday with a bunch of all the good stuff. I'm probably the
Yeah.
biggest one yet. So for episode
Yeah.
6, we're gonna be having a bang over here. So
We're going to be talking a lot about Lumineth. I can guarantee you that.
3 hour show probably.
I'm here for that. I've got my Lumineth on the shelf. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying we're going to know a lot about Lumineth, and we're going to know a lot about Skaven come the end of that live stream on Saturday.
I'm here
So
for it.
We should see about getting somebody in Broken Ranks to play Skaven to join us. Maybe
Who?
that's a good question.
That's like the only army we don't have anyone who plays like actually at a high
But-
level.
I mean, Dan plays it.
Dan plays
We
it.
get Dan in. I don't think Dan would want to
No,
That's
he probably
do
wouldn't.
this.
Well, I own the book. I'll do some research.
Yeah,
All right.
we'll figure it out.
All right.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Well, we'll see you next week, and that's it. I might have a house
Yep.
next week too. Who knows?
That's exciting.
All right.
I'll have a new phone by next week.
Heck yeah. All right, guys. See ya.